There we go. So you are in step one or
I finished step one and I moved on
to
to
step two?
step two, I believe. I'm pulling it up right now.
In the activities or
in the activities. Yeah, in the activities. We've had a crazy summer week here, so I'm a little bit behind where I hoped I would be.
Well, you know, this time of year, kids are all out of school.
Yes, they are.
Weather's starting to get kind of decent. At least in Rexburg, we have to add that kinda.
Oh, I'm looking forward to Idaho weather next week. I'm not going to lie. Texas weather, not so fun.
Not so much fun.
No.
But yeah, we've had quite a lot of rain actually. But the end of next week, it's supposed to be in the mid to high 80s. So maybe it'll do a turnaround.
I'm good with that. We're in the, well, this week we've been in the high 80s because it's been raining. But previous to that, it's been in the 100s, which I could do without.
Sure. Now, where in Texas are you?
I'm in Austin.
In Austin, all right. Capital city, huh?
That would be it.
So you may not even have heard of this town. Okay. I have a brother who lives in Driftwood.
I actually do know where Driftwood is. They have one of my favorite barbecue places in Driftwood. Have you been to Salt Lick?
I have not.
Oh my goodness. You need to go visit your brother and go to the Salt Lick. It's amazing.
Really?
Yes.
Because we've actually thought about driving through Texas this summer and visiting him.
Yep, I would totally recommend it. We're making the opposite trip starting tomorrow. We're going up to Boise.
Oh, you got family there?
I do.
Great.
Yep. So I got my log out finished, Brother Robertson. Whew.
Hey.
That was a doozy for me. I don't know why, but it was not fun.
But I'm glad you got it done.
Yes, I was making it harder than it needed to be, apparently.
Yeah, a sense of accomplishment there, Lisa.
Well, it was not a sense of accomplishment on Saturday when I did not have my enhancement completed. That was not fun, but it's okay.
But it's done now.
It is done now, and we have moved on to the activities, which are making sense.
Good.
I was trying to think if there was a question we had come across in our group meeting that we weren't sure on, but.
Well, if you've got step one done, step two is piece of cake. Because
good.
It's basically, I mean, step two realistically is the same code that you use for an insert.
Okay.
With the exception of the function. The function does an update rather than an insert. Other than that, it's pretty much identical.
You know, actually, you just reminded me of one question I did come across in our group meeting. So maybe I could share my screen and ask you about it.
Sure, go ahead.
So when we were doing the, let's see, the activities, it was talking about the get categories. Must have been in prod update. Okay. Oh yeah. So this cat list PHP here at the top. We were wondering because part of our group had it in their product controller, but the directions asked us to put it in the prod update view.
Yep.
And so we were just wondering what and why, and maybe you could help us.
That's a great question, by the way. The reason for moving it into the view, even though it seems a little strange, it actually isolates it from the controller somewhat. and helps it to, I got to be really careful because as soon as I say something, say, oh, that's not true. Let's just leave it at that. It helps it to function cleaner because it's isolated.
Okay.
And you now know that this code belongs only to this view. We're not going to be reusing it anywhere else.
Okay, because one of the ideas was to, I believe this is the right controller, yes. Okay, was to, and it's not even in the controller, it was in the model, was to take, where's that code? Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you didn't actually switch to the model. You're still.
It didn't actually open where I thought it was. That's why I'm losing my brain. Okay, so they were thinking that we could edit the SQL variable to. We have it currently to select all. Now I can't find where it is. It must. Anyway, something similar to this. It wasn't this one, but changing it from select all to specifically.
It's probably over in your Acme model.
That's what it was. It was in the main. Okay, yes, this get categories one. Change it from select all to specify the two category ID and name or something like that. But I didn't think that would work because then when we're using it in other places, we don't have all the information we need available when we call that. Because if we don't select all to begin with, then those other attributes aren't accessible.
Well, in this particular instance, if you go back to your database and look at the categories table, you'll find that there are only two columns. There's a category ID and a category name, and that's it. So in this case, it doesn't matter if you use the asterisk or if you express the actual column names.
Because it's getting the same attributes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. We were looking at the directions and one of our group members had remembered that we had to get categories in that Acme model, and so they were trying to debate if we should adjust that one or put it in the view. Okay. So I think that was the only thing we had run across that we weren't 100% sure why. I just did it because I was like, I don't understand everything that it's why we're doing things sometimes. So I'm like, I'm just going to follow the directions and with the assumption that there's a reason.
And there is. And that's, in most cases, we want code in a particular location so we can reuse it. And that keeps us from having to write a lot more of the exact same thing. But in this particular instance, we're not going to reuse this anywhere.
Okay.
And as a consequence, we can throw it here in the view. That isolates it, and it lets us know that this is the only place we'll use it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was the only thing we had come across that we weren't unanimous in our decision or thought process on.
But I hope that makes sense.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Perfect. I noticed there on line 21, you've got your nice thing in there. Now, just to let you know, and you don't have to do this, what you've got works just fine. But if you'll notice on line 19, the PHP code block above ends. And then on the
I wondered if I could do that and just get rid of those two.
Just delete it.
Okay.
And there it is. Again, is it a big deal? Not at all. Cool. It just saves 1, 2, 3 bytes of data that has to be processed. That's all it does.
Cool. When I saw it was PHP, I was like, oh, I wonder. But like I said, I'm just not familiar with as much of it. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to leave it separate.
Yep.
So
Yep.
good to know.
Perfectly.
What else did I have? Oh, I did notice when I am running my Acme, I have it working where when I'm logged in, the log out button shows. Here, let me minimize that. But I did notice on this view now, because I changed the other, my folder is no longer showing here.
Because you changed the other one.
Oops, that's not. When we were working on the logout and we had to put the if statement of if it's logged in, then show the logout button, and if they are not logged in, then you're going to show the my account link. When I changed that, I no longer have the folder on this view. Is that a problem? Is that how it's supposed to be?
It's not really a problem, no, because the functionality is not the folder. The functionality are the links.
Sure.
But if you go back, I'm assuming that it's in your header, common please.
Yes.
And so you'll notice that your image is there on line 13.
Right.
And if you don't want it to be part of that log out anchor,
okay,
then you could simply pull it out and put it at the beginning of line 12.
So I would take it from here.
Yeah.
And then put it right here.
Yep.
Before the if statement.
And notice that because you've got, well, let's see, wait a second. I'm trying to look at what you've got here in terms of your code. Yeah, put a semicolon at the end of the line. You'll also need to do an echo statement on that whole thing. So single quote right there, and then single quote at the end. So what's going to happen now is it'll show that folder regardless.
Okay, so the first thing when it comes into that is it's going to echo, it's going to show the folder, and then it's going to check to see if it's logged in or not.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, notice that on line 14 and 18, you're inside of list items.
Yes.
Where does your ordered or unordered list begin?
It doesn't. That was just how it was in the code that was shown, so I included that.
Yeah, I would take it out. There you go. Perfect. So go ahead and save that. Go back to your browser, reload, and let's see what it does.
Awesome. Cool. So then it changes to the logout.
Yep.
Awesome.
Does that work for you?
Mm-hmm. 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 Cool. I think that's all I got.
Cool. That works great. Well, it's just you and I. So if you've asked all of the questions you've got, since there's no one else to ask any others, I think we'll probably call it a night.
Sounds good.
Well, enjoy the cool weather before it gets hot again.
Thanks, Brother Robertson.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye.